Welcome. This video is for volunteers with Pesky Plant Trackers, and it is the first video in the Japanese knotweed phenophase series. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to remind all of the volunteers of the safety guidelines. First, remember that ticks can thrive in a variety of different environments, and that you should always do a self-examination after conducting your observations. Next, always remember to respect the space of others and to social distance. Make sure to choose a location where you are confident that you'll be able to do this. Also, please conduct your observations on public property or places where you have been provided with permission to access the land. Now that we have covered these important safety tips, we can move on to the topic of this video. Today, we will be discussing the leaf phenophases of Japanese knotweed and how to distinguish between the two. As shown in the timeline, the initial growth phenophase occurs early in the spring, while the second leaf phenophase, which has been named the leaves phenophase, can last well into fall. Starting off with the initial growth phenophase, it is defined as when new growth of the plant is visible after a period of no growth, such as winter or drought, either from above-ground buds with green tips or new green or white shoots breaking through the soil surface. Growth is considered initial on each bud or shoot until the first leaf has fully unfolded. If you are unsure of whether or not your plant is in this phenophase, remember that it occurs after a period of no growth, so after winter in Minnesota, and lasts until the first leaf has unfolded. If you see a live shoot above soil and no true leaves have fully unfolded, your plant is in the initial growth phenophase. Also, for Japanese knotweeds, it is important to note that the two leaf phenophases in this plant do, in fact, overlap. Since they tend to have multiple shoots, some shoots may have fully unfolded leaves, while others may not, so judge each of them independently. In this patch, for instance, we see that at least one shoot has fully unfolded leaves, while one of the shoots does not have fully unfolded leaves. Because you judge each shoot independently, and there are multiple shoots in this patch, you can report yes for both the initial growth and the leaves phenophases. This brings us to the leaves phenophase. It is defined as when one or more live, fully unfolded leaves are visible on the plant, and do not include fully dried or dead leaves. Of course, all the leaves on a plant are not going to die at the same time. So when should you report that the plant is no longer in the leaves phenophase? Well, you should continue to report seeing leaves as long as fresh, green or colored leaves or needles remain on the plant. In some cases, green leaves remain on the plant in a frozen condition for part or all of the winter. If more than about 5% of the leaves have remained on the plant in this condition, you should continue to report seeing leaves until they fall off or appear wilted. Lastly, here we have two pictures of plants that have dried or dead leaves on them. In the photo on the left, much more than 5% of the leaves are still green. So you would report this plant as being in the leaves phenophase. While in the photo on the right, almost all of the leaves are dried and wilted, which means that you would no longer consider this to be in the leaves phenophase. Congratulations! You are now ready to take this information and apply it to your Pesky Plant Trackers observations. Thank you for taking the time to educate yourself on the leaf phenophases of Japanese knotweed, and make sure to check out the other Japanese knotweed phenophase videos to provide yourself with a deeper understanding of how to observe this plant.